It has been 22 years since I was in Sri Lanka last. But the most important thing is this passage of this time, of this life. Because this is our time. And more correctively, this is your time, my time. This is the time that each one of us has been given. We get so lost in the semantics, the good, the bad, the right, the wrong. And what do we forget? Everywhere in this world, somebody has a request. Somebody has a prayer. And what is the prayer? The prayer is, God, give me this. Make this happen. Make this possible. Give me a better job. Give me a better life. And we forget what we have been given. Somehow we have the inability to look at what is in front of us. Because what is in front of us is indeed the most beautiful, the most magnificent. Every human being on the face of this earth is already blessed. In my opinion, there is no greater blessing than the coming and going of this breath. This is what you have. Everything else is changeable by its very nature. Look all around you. What will you see? There's trees, and they go through their cycle. They go through what they go through. One day, even the biggest tree will fall. It knows that. How does the tree know that one day it's going to fall? Very simple. Because it produces seeds. And by producing the seeds, it understands that one day it will be no more, but its line will continue. Whatever you see in this world is extremely temporary in nature. Everything. I mean, nothing is exempt from the temporariness of this world. Nothing. The sun is not exempt from the temporariness. The moon is not exempt from the temporariness. The earth is not exempt from the temporariness. And yes, it is hard to imagine what things will be like in millions and millions of years. But those millions of years are being projected in front of you. You are being shown every day what is yours and what is not yours. Every day. The breath comes. In good times, the breath comes. In bad times, the breath comes and brings you a gift. All around you, you want to preserve. You want things to be good, and when they are good, you want them to be that way. But they won't be. They can't be. They will change. So what do you understand from every day that you witness, the every day that you see? What do you understand from it? I was just in India. And in India, I suppose it's like anywhere else. The true feeling of being a human being has been changed to a formula. And here's the formula. You were something in your last lifetime. Based upon those actions, now you are here. Based upon your actions now, you will become something. One example that I have been given, there was this man, and he went to this Vedic monastery, and there he was told his fortune. Based upon when he was born, the monk who was there calculated what he was in his last lifetime and what he will be in the next lifetime. So he was told that he was an elephant in his last lifetime. And he was told that he is going to be a girl born in a rich household in the next lifetime. Now this is very impressive. Why is it impressive? Because if the policeman wearing his police uniform, he told you that, you would laugh at him. Imagine being at a train station and you have a porter, he's carrying your baggage. And all of a sudden he says to you, Sahib, in your last lifetime, you were an elephant. In your next lifetime, you're going to be a girl in a rich household. And you would say, what does he know? It's not the information. I'll get to that later. But because it was told by a guy who had shaved all his hair and was wearing saffron, had his tilak on his forehead, that gave that information the credibility that it needed. Same information coming from a 5-year-old child. Babuji, you're going to be a girl in your next lifetime. And you would say, mind your business. Same information coming from somebody, because it has nothing to do with reality. It's only a formula. That's why it works like that. Similarly, if you were coming to a crossroad in your bicycle and a monk went like this, stop, you wouldn't. And a policeman did this, you would. Because it is a formula. Everything is chopped up Where is reality? Now let's visit the information itself. So I find out that I was an elephant in my last lifetime. What good does that do me? Does that mean I should go sleep with the elephants? Does that mean that I can eat with my nose? What does it mean? What does it mean? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. And the fact that I'm going to be a girl in my next lifetime, what does that mean? Nothing. But what does that mean? Should I start wearing saris now? Getting into practice? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And of course, did this Panditji mention about this lifetime? No. He has no idea. He can brag about the one in the last lifetime because you cannot either prove or disprove him. And he cannot, and about the next lifetime you can neither prove or disprove him. And what did he say about this lifetime? Nothing. And that's how it is. That this whole world is willing to tell you about the future. You see a man, he does well, or see a person who does well, then you say you have a bright future. How bright of a future can you have? Think about it. Because one of the things in your future is you're going to die. It's part of it. It's part of it. How bright is your future? When you race, when you hurry up, I see the whole world, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. What's waiting for us at the end? That's what we are hurrying up to. And what's waiting at the end? There's nothing. So hurry up so you can have nothing. Hurry up so you can meet nothing. But it's all acceptable. Why is it acceptable? Why is it acceptable? Because the simple reality is ignored again and again and again. What is the simple reality? The reality is that you are alive. Neither an elephant, nor anything else that you might be, but you are who you are. You are who you are. And every day that comes, you are given an opportunity to recognize that. Every day that comes. Another day, the sun goes down. Darkness comes. Your body wants to go to sleep. Sun comes up again. You awaken. Here's your opportunity to become busy with the present, forget the past, and become busy with the present. But you don't do that. You go to sleep with the worries that have come from yesterday. You go to sleep with them. This is who you sleep with. Some people wonder why their life is miserable. Look at the company you keep. Look at the company you keep. You keep the company of memories that are gone. Gone. You look at your friend, and what do you see? He did this to me. He did that to me. One of the things that is very amazing about human beings, is if there is a person in your life who every day, not even every day, every hour they tell you, I love 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 you. Every hour they say, I love you, I love you, I love you. And they do this for 50 years. Then one day, just once, during the day, just once, they say, I hate you. And then they go back, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. What will you remember? We are a matka, a clay pot that has a hole in it. A clay pot that has a hole in it, the entire water of all the oceans can pass through it. And it will remain dry. 1 hour after all the water of the oceans has passed through it, put it out in the sun and it'll dry up. But a matka, a clay pot that has no holes in it, does not need the water of all the oceans. Put one lota, one mug, one jug full, it'll retain it. If we have become the clay pot with a hole in it, it really doesn't matter what we learn, what we understand. It will pass through. It will not be retained. But if we are truly a vessel that is sealed, has no holes at the bottom, a little bit will go a long way. So why did I tell you the thing about the clay pot? And the reason why I told you the thing about the clay pot is because the world is like that pot with a hole in it. And they come up with new formulas, more new formulas, more new formulas, more new formulas, new religions, new interpretations to old religions, new interpretations to old interpretations. This is what happens. But will they be sufficient? Never. Does the pot has a hole in it? Pour what you want into it. Keep pouring what you want into it. It doesn't matter. Pour gold into it, it'll go away. Pour water into it, it'll go away. Pour milk into it, it'll go away. If this is what we have become in our lives, is a pot with a hole in it, it really doesn't matter what we learn, what we understand. The other night, I was asleep, and many, many times in my sleep, I give satsang. It happens. Sometimes it's 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it's 4 o'clock in the morning. So, that night, in my satsang, I was giving a story. It was a nice story, so I remembered it. And what was the story? There was a man, and he loved parrots. So he got a big cage, and he had also heard that if you rear the parrots from the egg, from the baby stage, they will be more loving to you. So he got 3 eggs, made sure that all the temperatures were right, and in this cage, 3 parrots were born. And he wanted these parrots to have the best. Best education, best everything. So right from a very young age, he started teaching them all the scriptures, all the Vedas, formulas, mathematical formulas, trigonometry, geometry, arithmetic. And by the time these parrots came of age, they could talk. I mean, they could talk like you wouldn't believe. They knew the shlokas. They could just sing out the shlokas. And one day, the man died. So somebody decided, well, nobody's going to look after these parrots, may as well release them. So he took the parrots. Right outside the window was a tree, and he put the parrots on the tree. The parrots walked along the branches, looked around. It was a new experience for them. Started reciting the shlokas. And there was another parrot on the tree. And he said, "What are you saying?" And he said, what do you mean we're saying? Look at your voice. Look at what you speak as. Just a cow. Look at us. We can sing the shlokas. We can sing the scriptures. We can sing the hymns. We know everything. We know mathematics. We know trigonometry. We know the formulas. We can design bridges. We can do so much. I mean, we are incredible. We're the 3 most incredible parrots. And this other parrot that was sitting on the branch was watching. And he saw a cat coming and starting to climb the tree. And he said, "Oh, by the way, you 3 who know so much, do you know how to fly?" They said, "Oh yes, we know how to fly. When the pressure above the wing is reduced, pressure below the wing is increased, we fly." He said, no, not in theory. I mean in reality. Do you know how to fly?" He said, "No, we've been so busy learning and studying and becoming so wise, unlike you, that we never had the time to learn how to fly. Because that is so pathetic. Look what we know." And he said, "Well, I tell you what, you may be the smartest parrots in the world, but in the next few minutes, you're really going to need to know how to fly, because if you don't, you're going to be the dinner of that cat that is about 2 feet away from you." And of course that parrot flew away. Same thing. We are those parrots. We are those parrots. And we know everything, don't we? We know what? We know we were an elephant in our last lifetime. And we know that we will be something else next lifetime. But if you don't know how to live, if you don't know the meaning of this breath, if you don't know the meaning of this existence, if you don't know the meaning of this blessing, it's all worthless. Because the cat is climbing up the tree. And when the cat comes, you know exactly what I mean by the cat. What kind of cat? When that cat comes, nothing matters. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. When that cat comes, what matters? When that cat comes, the only thing that matters is peace. Peace. Not a list of resentment. I should have done this, oh I could have done this, I should have done this, I could have done this, I should have done this, oh I forgot, oh my God. I didn't tell so-and-so I love them, I didn't say this to them, I did this to them, I did that to them, this could have been this way, this could have been that way. What are you going to have? What are you going to have? Peace? Peace seems so trivial to you now. Because you have your busy schedule. You have the whole world to take care of. You have all these responsibilities. That if you don't take care of the responsibility of this heart, what good is it? What good is it? Because this heart is a part of you too. If you walk around with one eye shut all the time, does it help anything? You know, it doesn't work like, well, I'm going to live for 100 years, so for the first 50 years I'll walk around with one eye, and then after I turn 50 I'll close that eye and I'll walk around with the other. You need two eyes. You have been given two eyes. Without that one eye, you will keep bumping into things. What if you can you imagine if you decide that you're going to live 100 years, and for the first 50 years you will only walk on one leg, and for the next 50 you'll walk on the other leg? Will it work? It won't. Because the chances are you will fall so many times that you may not even live to be 10, much less 50, much less 100. You know that when you start to drown in water, in river or in ocean or in a lake or in a bay or wherever it may be, you know what people do? They use everything they have. The hands, they use. The legs, they use. Whatever they have, they use. And in our life, we're trying to swim in this ocean of this world. And are we using everything? Because unless you also use this heart, unless you also use that inner wisdom, unless you also use that inner thirst, your life is incomplete regardless of what you do. Receiving the gift of knowledge is accepting your responsibility. It is saying, I include this heart in my life. It is saying, I acknowledge the thirst in my life. Not ignore, I acknowledge. And then when you practice this knowledge every day, you acknowledge that day. You acknowledge that breath. When you sit down to practice this knowledge, you acknowledge the breath that has been given to you. No other time. No other time. All the other time, this is going. Thinking about all the things that are not. And when that focus turns to within, then the person acknowledges that blessing that is being given to them. The beautiful saying, beautiful dua from Kabir. Mala phirum, nakar phirum. That I don't do any rosary, don't do anything with these hands, or jibya kahe na ram, nothing is uttered, no mantra, nothing. Sumran mera hari kare, God himself does my meditation for me, and main paun vishram. All I do is relax. What's he talking about? In this world, never figure it out. Somebody who has knowledge can figure out like that. That's what happens. It is so beautiful that blessing comes to you, that gift comes to you, and all you have to do is not create it. Because if you had to create it, that would be complex. All you have to do is welcome it. All you have to do is accept it. That is all. It's being given, and all you have to do is take. And to take it, to truly accept it, neither can this clay pot have a hole in it. If it has a hole in it, it can accept all it wants and it'll come up empty. Always empty, always empty, always empty. Nor can this pot be pre-filled. Those are the only two things required for you to have the greatest enjoyment of this life. Pot be empty, and it better not be full of holes. Can you do that? In your life, can you be conscious enough to understand the importance of this existence? Can you be conscious enough to allow your heart to fill with the gratitude that it wants to fill? That's all. Nothing else. Nothing else is being asked for. There are no other requirements. Do you have to be pure? Void of all sins? Nowhere. Nowhere does it say that you have to do that. In religion, yes, you should not be a sinner. Or if you are a sinner, you need to get rid of all your sins. In the realm of knowledge, the word sin does not come. All you have to do is accept. Be reminded again and again within yourself the importance and the value of what you have been given. To enjoy in earnest. Enjoy. People forget. People forget what the purpose of that union with the divine is. The purpose, the sole purpose of the union with the divine that is inside of you is for the joy. Nothing else. It won't make you rich. It won't reverse the time. It won't remove the wrinkles. It won't fix your eyes. All it'll do is bring forth the treasure of joy. That is that Paramanand. Param, supreme. Param, Anand, joy. That's that Paramanand. That's the sole purpose. Contentment. If you can understand that a full belly and an empty heart is a difficult way to live. It's life in paradox. To have everything and to know you have nothing is a life in paradox. Then, when you are in that joy, when you are in that bliss, there is no paradox. To know the answer, but be filled with questions. To know the answer, to be filled with all the questions, and never to remember what the answer is. What is that like? Have you ever taken a test? And you come and you got all the tests, all the questions in front of you. I took a test not too long ago when I got to India for my temporary license to be able to fly in India. They wanted me to take a written test. So I went there. First I had to study. Study. Because the rules are different. How you fly is the same, but the rules are different. So I studied. And then I went and I took my test. They gave me the test. And they gave me 1 hour to complete the test. I looked at the test. I sat down. I looked at the test. And I looked at the question. And I knew the answer. So I just went through it. Before I knew, I was done. I was done in 7 minutes. So, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm finished with my test. But what is it like to look at a question and you know the question? You know the question, you understand the question, but you don't know the answer. Terrible! What is it? 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 Without that understanding, without that knowledge, life becomes just like that. You have the questions. You understand the questions. But you don't know the answer. You don't know. Don't know what is being asked for. Question comes up. Am I rich? Am I poor? You know the answer. You definitely understand the question. But do you really know the answer? Am I rich? Am I poor? Am I rich? Am I poor? Am I rich? Am I poor? Who am I? Who am I? The world asks the question, who are you? You ask the question, who am I? You understand the question. Do you know the answer? Do you? Because once you did, answer was, you're you. Children, they're very funny that way. If you ask them, what is your name, they will say their name. But if you ask them, who are you? Me. Me. I'm me. You knew. You knew. What this you is. The simple cry, the simple thirst to be content. But you got so infatuated with questions, so mesmerized by questions, you forgot the answers and remembered the questions. This is great, but it's not going to help you in taking the test of life. If you want to take the test of life, you need to remember not so much the questions. You know why? You know why you don't need to remember the questions? Because they will be given to you. They will be provided. It's the answers that will be missing. So if you have to remember something, remember the answers. Don't remember the questions. You're memorizing the wrong thing. And that's what happens in this life. Go to anyone, and they will tell you of their problems. Because that's what they remembered. They remembered the question. They remembered the problems. What about the solution? And only that person who knows how to turn within inside of them knows the answer. What is your ultimate desire? Your ultimate desire is to be happy, is to be content. How is that? People say, what about this need? What about that need? I was in India, and there's a friend of mine, and his father had bought this helicopter, single-engine helicopter. Every time I see a single-engine helicopter in India, it makes me quiver. Because there's nothing wrong with a single-engine helicopter. Nothing. But it takes a lot of practice to be able to land that in case there was an engine failure. A lot of practice. How do I know this? I have a helicopter pilot's license. I know what it is like. And one day I was watching the news. I was in the middle of nowhere watching news. And all of a sudden, they showed this helicopter crash. And it was this person's father's helicopter. And it crashed. And he died. And to me, it was shocking. It was shocking. And in that moment, all the wealth of the world would not help. Nothing would help. What do you want? As this scenario unfolds, of where something happens that is unexpected. Disasters happen. Good happens. Bad happens. Sad things happen. Joyful things happen. Don't you see? The happening is the music. Music is not just about noise. It's also about the silence between the notes. Music is as much about the quietness as it is about the sound. All those things all around us keep changing, keep changing, keep changing, keep changing, keep changing. We have our likes, we have our dislikes. But even through it all, you are given a blessing. Even through that time that you feel so utterly abandoned because of your sadness, there is a blessing that is still coming. And that blessing is that breath. Still comes, still touching you. You need to be not in the place of judgment, but in the place of acceptance. Of acceptance. Good, bad, right, wrong. This is not yours. If you try to make sense out of it, you never will. You never will. You never can. All you can do is to accept. Accept the blessing. That's why it's being given to you. So you can accept and you can be fulfilled in your life. This is what today is about. And this, again, can be again and again in your life. A true master does not tell you about you being an elephant in your last lifetime. And a true master does not tell you about being a woman in a rich household. A true master tells you about now, in this life that you have been given. Regardless of the good and the bad. Because there you are. This is the gift. Of all the billions of variations that could have been, this is you. This is you. Of all the billions of things that could be, this is you. You could have been 1 inch taller. You could have been 1 inch shorter. Your face could have been a little different, but it isn't. This is who you are. Do you accept that? And do you understand that acceptance in your life? Or is all your investment that isn't? I wish it was this way, I wish it was that way, I wish it could be this way, I wish I were this, I wish I was that, Is your investment in all that isn't, or your investment in all that is? Because I'll tell you, so if our finances are concerned, if your investment is in what is, you're going to be rich. If your investment is in what isn't, you're going to lose everything. Because that which isn't, it will stay that way. It's never going to become a reality, it'll stay that way. That dream, that idea. So awaken and open your eyes. Open your eyes to that fundamental reality of this beautiful, beautiful breath coming into you. Awaken to the beautiful reality of being alive. And dance that beautiful dance of life every day. And weigh every moment with the weight of this breath. Weigh every moment with the weight of this gratitude. Weigh every moment with the weight of reality, with the sweetness, with the beauty, with the understanding, with the clarity. Take the steps needed in your life. Be content. Be content in that param ana, in that supreme joy, in that supreme bliss that is dancing always inside of you. The creator of this world, and then the creator of your understanding. Inside of you. The sustainer of this world, and the sustainer of you inside of you. And the destroyer of ignorance in this world, and the destroyer of the ignorance inside of you. That is the God that dwells inside of you. The God that dwells inside of you is the generator of your understanding, is the sustainer of your existence, and the destroyer of your ignorance. And that God is your real God. Your real. And that's inside of you. Let it manifest. Let it generate understanding. Let it generate that joy. Let it sustain that beauty. Let it sustain that joy. Let it sustain this feeling inside of you. And let that God destroy the ignorance. Ignorance. Let it get rid of it. Let it. When you try to become your own God, it's hopeless life. Because you then try to control what is not in your control. But let it. And let the truest nature of that God manifest. Truest nature. And the day you do, you will begin to live. Irrespective of your age. It doesn't matter how old you are. You will begin to live. you will begin to understand. And then, when you begin to live, then that is the blessing of the Master. That is the blessing of the Guru upon you. Because he invoked that thirst. It was lying dormant. He invoked it. Through his words, through his message, he made that thirst come to life. And he took you and guided you and inspired you to go to the water and drink from it. And the quenching, subsequently, the quenching is the blessing of the Master. Let that be in your life. Let that become real in your life. It is a beautiful, beautiful process. Because this life in itself is a beautiful, beautiful journey. Be fulfilled every day. That is what this promises. To be fulfilled every single day. So thank you very much, and enjoy this life.